Visual elements of art. So the visual elements are the line, form, shape, tone, color, pattern, texture, and form. They are the building blocks of composition in art. The first example here is the Pablo Picasso, 1881 to 1973, by Jacinto Salvador as a harlequin. So as you can see, the visual elements have their relationship with each other. So most images begin their life as a line drawing. Line cross over one another to form shapes. Shapes can be filled with tone and color or repeated to create a pattern. A shape may be rendered with a rough surface to create a texture. A shape may be projected into a 3-dimension to create a form. So the first visual elements is the line. So what is line? Line is the foundation of all drawing. It is the first and most versatile of the visual elements of an art. Line in an artwork can be used in many different ways. It can be used to suggest shape, pattern, form, structure, growth, depth, distance, rhythm, movement, and a range of emotion. So we have also the psychological response to different types of lines. So curved lines, horizontal lines, vertical lines, and the jog lines. The way we draw a line can convey different expressive qualities. Freehand lines, mechanical lines, continuous lines, broken lines, thick lines, and the thin line. So this is the example artwork of a line. The next element is the shape. So what is shape? Shape can be a natural or man-made, regular or irregular, flat 2-dimensional or solid 3-dimensional, representational or abstract, geometric or organic, transparent or opaque, positive or negative, decorative or symbolic, colored, patterned or textured. Then we have also the perspective of shapes. The angles and curves of shapes appear to change depending on our viewpoint. The technique we use to describe this change is called the perspective drawing. So the behavior of shapes. Shapes can be used to control your feelings in the composition of an artwork. Squares and rectangles can portray strength and stability. Circles and ellipses can represent continuous movement. Triangles can lead the eye in an upward movement. Inverted triangles can create a sense of imbalance and tension. So this is the example of visual elements in shape. Next visual element is the tone. Tone is the lightness or darkness of a color. The tonal values of an artwork can be just adjusted to alter its expressive character. This is the example of visual elements tone. These artworks made by Johannes Vermeer by 1632 to 1675. This is the girl with a pearl earring. The next visual element is the color. Color is the visual elements that has the strongest effect on our emotions. We use color to create the mood or atmosphere of an artwork. There are many different approaches to use of color. Color as light, color as tone, color as pattern, color as form, color as symbol, color as movement, color as harmony, color as contrast, and the color as mood. This is the example visual elements of color. Autumn Landscape with Boat by Walsky Kandinsky on 1866 to 1944. The next visual element is the pattern. So pattern is made by repeating or echoing the elements of an artwork to communicate a sense of balance, harmony, contrast, rhythm, or a movement. So there are two basic types of pattern in an art. So natural pattern and the man-made pattern. So this is the visual element of pattern. So the Dream City by Paul Klee. So the next visual element is the texture. Texture is the surface quality of an artwork, the roughness or smoothness of the material from which it is made. We experience texture in two ways: optically through sight and physically through touch. So optical texture is an artist may use his her skillful painting technique to create the illusion of texture. For example, in the detail from a traditional Dutch still life above you can see remarkable verisimilitude, the appearance of being real. In the painted insects and drops of moisture on the silky surface of the flower petals. Next is the physical peak texture. An artist may paint with expressive brushstrokes whose texture conveys the physical and emotional energy of both the artist and his/her subject. The last visual element is the form. So form is a physical volume of a shape and a space that is occupies. So form can be represented or abstract. Form generally refers to a sculpture, third design, and architecture, but may also relate to the illusion of third and tooth surface. So this is the visual elements of form. That Datindro Screpolato by Igor Mitura.